Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Spiritual Spotlight series. Today, I am joined by Tatiana Flow. She is a certified Kundalini activation energy worker, theta healer, NLP, and Reiki specialist. She is the author of Elegantly Simple, a pocket-sized guidebook for transformation, and she offers an array of courses and workshops as well as private sessions. Moreover, what I think is amazing, she teaches combining what abundant spiritual and material worlds for herself. So not only does she teach the teach, she also walks it. And for today, we're going to be talking about removing the barrier between the head and the heart. And another thing I want to say is she's an abundance mentor. So Tatiana, thank you so much for being here today. We are very excited to have you. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your background, because you have a very interesting background to where you used to be and where you currently are now.
Thank you so much, Rachel. First of all, thank you for inviting me to join your beautiful podcast and share my story with your listeners.
Thank you.
My story is interesting. I was in business. I have a business background, and now I am building my spiritual business, which kind of is different. And I don't see a contradiction in it. And
I 100% agree with you.
Yes, it's the opposite. I think one, complete another, and they work together in harmony. So I was in finance for 15 years. The last 7 years, I was teaching Wall Street guys at the global companies of the world, traveling around the world, traveling around the US, and providing finance training. I also was in real estate in one of the most luxurious places in the world, the Hamptons, helping my ex-husband with his business. And on top of that, I built my very own startup, educational software for finance professionals startup that I raised money for in Silicon Valley. And I sold it last year. So I have a very heavy background in very masculine industries. And I was successful in that. And 2.5 years ago, before that, I'll mention that all my path was still defined by me being interested in esoterics, doing different practices, yoga, meditations, and going for what I was building from doing different internal shifts and seeing how the reality for me unfolds differently. But when I changed something inside, I saw how the reality responds to that, all my path. And that's how I built this successful life. I'm from a poor USSR family. I grew up in Russia. I moved to the US 10 years ago to get my MBA degree. And step by step, I was building that by doing internal shifts, allowing myself to have more and seeing what I need to change in me to have that more. And it worked perfectly. And 2.5 years ago, I did my very first ayahuasca ceremony. And in 1 month after that, I had a Kundalini awakening, what people call that sensation of energy pumping through my body. It was, a spontaneous process.
Yeah.
And at that time, I did not know what Kundalini is, but it came to me as a knowledge, as I was in that process and I couldn't move. I was just sitting on my bed and the energy was pumping up. I knew it's Kundalini. So in my spiritual journey, that the deep spiritual journey that started 2.5 years ago, it was kind of a reverse process. Before I would learn something and apply here, some sensations would happen to me, and then I learn how to do what it is and how to apply it in material world.
I think that's
And all my
fascinating.
life, I
Yeah.
was drawn to work with the clients, you know, and being a coach. But only 2.5 years ago, I started to work with the clients. First, it was life coaching. Then I added hypnotherapy, and now I'm working with energy as well. So I combine many techniques in my sessions for the clients right now.
I think that is amazing. But I also want to hit on that you had these like spontaneous awakening moments. But what it also sounds like from your past, maybe before you had these moments, you may have inklings that there was something else more than what meets the eye.
Definitely, definitely. I always felt there's more, something more than, you know, I know somebody forgot to tell me something. And if before I was searching for more logical answers in psychology, in NLP, in even in practices I've done, here I was searching for the truth.
Yeah.
And I lived through that last year, last summer. And only through experience you can remember who you truly are. You can remember your divine nature, that you are truly a creator of your life. Many people talk about that now, but only by living through that, experiencing that, you truly remember. And every one of us is looking, every single person on earth is looking for that. Just some people more disconnected and some people more connected to that state of being truly aligned with your divine nature. And after I lived through that, and after I learned how to live it in material life, I cannot not help others to reach the same. And that's why I'm doing the work I do now. And that's usually the people that are drawn to do sessions with me, who are ready to bloom, ready to truly remember who they are and how to create an abundant life for yourself in health, love, relationship, everything. How to see these mind programs and just cancel them. How to understand that there's no real karma. You choose. Your choice is to cancel it too, by following your true authentic path. So that's what I do now for people.
That is so true. I mean, especially right now in the current day of age, there are so many people that are going through the spiritual awakening. They're looking for things that are exterior. And like you said, the divine path and being connected to divine really comes from within. And what you do is that you remove that barrier between the head and the heart, because a lot of everything, comes from the heart. And I think we, as logical beings, we're like, well, wait a second, but this doesn't make sense. How did you kind of come to living in the financial background, which is very logical, very mind forward, and then shifting into the heart?
It was a path, and my mind was obviously strongly trained to be logical, and I learned to feel more than explain, and I surrendered into something bigger than my mind. And only through surrendering to that, you can go into states where you truly find yourself, you truly find God within, love within, what you clearly start seeing for what life is. Because while you're trying to explain it with your mind, it's still your mind programs. When you follow your heart, your feelings, your intuitions, some things you can't explain, but you just trust it, and everything, that's where the true magic appears in your life, and something happens beyond what you could even imagine with your linear mind. And it was a path to start trusting that, to start living this way. But it's so worth it. It's a completely different quality of life. And I always tell my clients, you need to learn to feel comfortable in uncertainty, because our mind wants certainty. Our mind is has its comfort in certain things, in some strategies, and future we can explain. And I say only on that, like when you are always on the edge, you're always on the edge of, I just trust it, I follow it, no matter what my mind says it's crazy, it doesn't make sense. I feel it, I follow it. And that's where where something bigger is born in your life, and that is your authentic path. When you accept also life for what it is, and different events that people define as traumatic, the death of the loved one, the breaking up, I don't know, with a husband or with a boyfriend, or something that people usually define as crisis, I see the opportunity to find yourself even deeper, to align with yourself. And when you see that, and to see beyond that, these events, why is it happening for me? When you live this way, so many beautiful things unfold for you. And I can tell it with confidence because I do that. And that's how I lived through the death of my mom in the beginning of that year. There was no suffering. It was one of the most beautiful, loving event of my life. Very intense.
Yeah.
There were tears, but it wasn't tears of grief or suffering. It was tears of gratitude, love, and everything that I saw because I was open to that. I lived with my mom through the stages of her, going up into another place. I felt it. I lived through so many different sensations. So much power came to me through that event. So when you're open to see it differently, those traumatic events, those crises, it always makes you stronger, and you unfold so much about yourself, about life in general.
It is so true. One of the things that, I definitely believe in is that heart hurts are rocket fuel for ascension. And I love the fact that you are, yes, it's a profound experience and it can be difficult, but if you shift into the heart, it can be a profound and very empowering experience, it sounds like.
Exactly. When I was in Bali, many years, like 12 years ago, probably. Actually, first time maybe I was 14 years ago. And in Bali, they celebrate death more than they celebrate, for example, marriage. And just seeing a different perception on the same event. Most of the world likes to grieve and cry and, suffer around that event. I saw a different perception, and I was like, yes, there's something in that. And now when I lived through that, I'm like, I want for people to see beyond what, how we conditioned by society, by our cultural norms. There's something beyond that. And it's so beautiful. And it's called life, true life. When you accept death as a part of life, when you accept pain as a part of life, and you just love it all, and you're grateful for all of it, no matter what, because you're alive.
Yeah. And that's where you're like truly surrendering to the universe and surrendering to the path. But like you said, people's minds get involved, which I would imagine this is probably a lot of what your platform, removing the barrier between the head and the heart, is all about.
Yes, because while you're living from your mind only, mind is a great thing, right?
Yeah.
Because of that, we learn how to walk, we learn how to drive the car, and so on and so forth. But at the same time, our mind tends to put labels on things, put things in the box. And for example, some people go through what we call, again, traumatic experience of, I don't know, for example, the parents were cheating on each other, and the child is growing up with a program that there are no happy marriages, that everyone is a cheater, and so on and so forth. And that's exactly what a person attracts into their lives subconsciously, one way or another, being not able to create healthy relationship.
Right.
And only by teaching this mind program, because the reality, life, is much broader than that condition that was created, that pattern, that mind program. The reality is there are happy marriages and non-happy marriages. There are people who cheat, and there are people who are honest with each other. And only when you see the reality as is, you accept it as a whole, only then you have a choice, a conscious choice, to choose a different path for yourself. Just canceling your mind program that all marriages are, are terrible. Just cancel it, and believing that it's possible for you to create something different in your life.
And for you, a lot of it comes from abundance. And I know it's not just abundance with material objects, it's abundance with relationships, with health, with just kind of living the life of your dreams, which is phenomenal. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your platform, removing the barrier between the head and the heart?
Well, I have a website, tatianaflow.com, and what I do, I describe my services there. I offer one-on-one coaching with the clients. I offer some group sessions and mentorship. And again, it's a combination of different techniques I learned throughout my life. And more importantly, I don't just teach it, I lived through those experiences. I can relate to people because I was living defined by society, defined by mind programs. My parents' divorce. I lived through many different things, so I can see very clearly the connections, why people form this mind program that is destructive for them, and how to bring them deeper into their true nature, to just cancel them and to connect back to themselves and to stop betraying themselves and live in a complete honesty with yourself, with the world. When your words, feelings, words, actions are aligned, and for so many people it's not, just because we're trying to adjust to, again, this society and or to these boxes of mind programs. When it's aligned, truly aligned, so simple. Life is so simple.
It really is.
Believe what you feel. That's it.
And I think the one thing is that we also, the how is up to the universe. So, we can get to the nitty gritty of what our heart desires, and like kind of digging into, like you're saying, the programming, the limiting beliefs, and looking at it. And then I like the fact that you're teaching people how to remove those blocks, remove those limitations so that they can live in true alignment.
Yeah, at the same time, when we say how is up to the universe, you kind of give responsibility to something greater, which is which I would like people to have it back to them. The responsibility on how you live through the events that might not be in your power is up to you. Your reactions to events and your actions, and through your actions and reactions, being responsible for everything that happens in your life, including your childhood, including some traumatic events in your life, divorce, whatever happened, taking responsibility, seeing why it happened for me.
Right.
And from that place, you can grow. So in a way, you surrender to life, and another way, you take full responsibility for your life. And it's a simultaneous process where you become a true creator of your life.
I totally agree with you there. I believe in that we're co-creators on this process. I think my point, maybe I didn't explain it very clearly, was that we make energy blocks when we assume that something is going to come in a certain way. So I think for me, it's like, oh no, I got to open it up, because maybe we're talking about abundance. I'm looking to manifest bringing $500 extra. I might assume it's going to come from my job, but I might get it from the next door neighbor. I think that's more of but you're
Absolutely
right. You
true. Yes.
have to take on you're right. You can't just sit there and just be like, everything's going to be perfect, but we have to take on some responsibility and some ownership. And I like the fact that you're also saying take on some ownership of the past and when you're a child, and maybe working through some of those things. If you don't mind, do you have any maybe amazing transformations that you've brought some of your clients through that you're able to share?
Yes, I have many
She's
actually,
like, I
but
have so many, I can't even tell
so
you.
I'm just thinking which one to choose.
Sure.
I actually like now to work with clients that work with other clients. That's what brings me the most of joy right now, because I see the butterfly effect, how I'm affecting that person who already works with a client. I am showing them beyond what they already teach, like from the energy point of view, from the again, from finding this God, love, life, everything within. And it's only through living through experiences, seeing you can truly, truly, truly get it. And then I can see how that, as a butterfly effect, goes beyond our sessions to more people and more people and more people, affecting more and more lives. So I would say that recently, most of my clients actually come to me to learn how to work with Kundalini energy, and I can see how them starting to work with other clients. For example, one of my clients, he can literally heal it and perform surgeries on all organs now. It's differently how it works for me. For example, for me, it's about awakening people.
Right.
For him, it's about healing, literally, physically people. For my other client, she brings the energy of sexuality, of opening people into their true sexual, sensual nature. And I see how her work changed as well, as she, after our session. And that brings me so much joy to see that. And that's because I'm enjoying it. That's the type of clients mostly I attract. And I have many different already. I can see how it unfolds more and more with many of my clients. All of it is magical, every single case.
I love that. What kind of group programs do you offer?
So group programs are happening mostly in Miami, offline. At the same time, I am thinking to do some online group sessions as well. And it's again a combination of NLP techniques combined with energy work, more than anything, for people to touch something they're so looking for but forgot maybe, and to make them feel more free and more connected to their true nature. It's all for me, whether it's a personal session or a group session, it's all around one. But group sessions are obviously different, and one-on-one work is more precise solution for you, specifically for all the mind programs that we need to shed off specifically to live your true, authentic self.
That is so beautiful. And if anyone is interested in scheduling a session with you, is the best way to go to your website?
To my website, tatianaflow.com. There is all contacts, all information there. And also my Instagram, Tatiana_Flow. Many people come from Instagram because they feel my work more and more, and it builds trust. And then I offer free discovery calls for the clients who are interested to learn more before actually scheduling the sessions, so we can feel each other. We can feel if we are we fit each other energetically, and if it's something that my clients want to pursue, then we go into personal work.
Very nice. Do you have any advice, maybe, because like we said, a lot of people are going through this feeling of there's something more, there's something missing, what is it that I'm looking for? Any piece of advice you might have for somebody that's going through something like that?
Keep looking, keep exploring yourself. It's the path that is towards you. It's an internal path. And only by looking for what you're looking for internally through self-exploration process, only then you can see the results externally. So every one of us, every single person on the planet is looking for love. But they're looking for love from parents that maybe didn't give them enough, from spouses, from kids, instead of going inwards, finding that true, undeniable love for yourself and this divine nature within. And from that, you can love the whole universe. And from that place, you create healthy relationship with your parents, with your husband, with the whole world around you again.
Absolutely.
Go inwards.
I think that's beautiful advice. And I love the fact that, even before you kind of really tapped into, your Kundalini awakening and everything that you've been certified in, you kind of were led to do meditation and yoga, like you followed your intuitive senses, and I guess for me, one more question I might have is, how did you know, like, what you were drawn to? Like, how did you know? Because there's so many different spiritual modalities and so many different, like, well, I could do this, I could do this. How did you kind of pick what you picked?
Well, I've done many different modalities, and
Same.
that's an advantage. And I think whatever you feel like in the moment is right for you. So just follow. You don't have to pick one teaching like Kundalini yoga only, or only one master only.
So true.
I think the beauty is in trying different things, exploring through that, because every master and every type of modality would unfold different parts of you, and that's how you self-explore. But being true to, not because somebody told you that, oh, I follow that and I found enlightenment and I will highly recommend. That's his path or her path. Your path is listening to yourself, what you feel in the moment, to whom you are drawn as a master in the moment, and follow exactly that. Because at the end of the day, the true master is within. So to find that, you need to self-explore with other different people, but then shed off everything and find your true self. How does it go through you? What's the true mastery of life for you?
That is a beautiful piece of advice. The true master is within you. I love that so much. Anything else you want to add before we wrap up this amazing show?
I just want to thank you, Rachel, for this amazing podcast and for your beautiful energy, and for this opportunity to share what I do, what I love with you and with your listeners. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I have to tell you, everyone that's listening, Tatiana's energy is beautiful. It's amazing. I'm also an energy healer, and I can just feel so much love that just resonates from you. It's beautiful, emanates from you. It's a beautiful energy. I recommend anyone that's looking for maybe just exploring the path and transforming from inside out and really living life of your dreams. Check Tatiana out. Thank you all so much, and we'll see you guys soon.